I'm very happy to see that we have today around 40, that is a very large number of educators traveling to India on an exposure tour and experience tour to Japan. Especially in this particular year, where India and Japan are celebrating two very important landmark occasions. The first is the 10th anniversary of India-Japan Spatial Strategic and Global Partnership. Second, it is also India-Japan Year of Tourism, second edition. Why these two events are very important? Because these two events mark or underline and underscore the level of the degree of, recalling the first point, the spatial strategic and global partnership. Why is this very unique? I'm sure each one of you, being educators, take interest in foreign policy, in international relations also. India has relations with several countries. We are a very unique country ourselves. We believe in the motto of the philosophy of Vasudev Kutumbakam. That is India and the countries and the whole planet is like one family. If you will recall, during the last year, G20 chairship of India, we had launched the motto, our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, he had launched the motto and the vision of G20 as one earth, one family, one future. This is on the foundations of our ancient philosophy of Vasudeva Kutumbakam. So this relationship between India and Japan you will find with no other country. And that's why this is so unique. It evolves from ancient historical linkages. It evolves on strong cultural connect between the two countries. The common philosophies which emanates from this cultural understanding in two countries, from their philosophies of spirituality, of hospitality, of world peace, of better living lifestyles, that is very, very conservative environmental lifestyles, and most and above all, sustainable development for all. So I can take you on and on between the spatial relationship between India and Japan, what we have developed over the last so many years. But being from the education field, this is one area which I would say we are very closely working with government of Japan to reach its potential. What I would like to share with you is that from the perspective of education, we still have a very, very long way to go between India and Japan. Currently, the linkages between India and Japan are focused very strongly at high technology institutional linkages. If I can recount to you, in fact, if I have the pleasure of recounting to you, that we have over 600 linkages in the field of education between Indian universities and Japanese universities, running into over 100 universities on both sides. But still, these linkages are yet to materialize into strong action. We talk about STEM, science, technology, mathematics. We have developed strong scientific linkages also, which are supported by these institutional linkages between our IITs, Indian Institute of Technologies, and their universities here, which are very advanced in research and science and technology. That said, despite all these linkages which we have developed, the number of researchers and scholars in higher education are very low. They are running at around numbers of 1,500 to 2,000, which is very, very low for the kind of linkages we have. On the other hand, from the education at school level, we have very, very few linkages. I practically can recount only certain school level outreach visits at the initiative of few organizations like yours, who bring students to Japan for short terms and also who take Japan students to India. That is high school and lower than high school, the school, what we call the grade K to 12. Not only that, we are again struggling with the numbers of university students coming to Japan. and the number of students at university level from Japan going to India. We launched an initiative last year under the aegis of our Honorable Ambassador, His Excellency Shri C.B. Georgi. The program of Education Connect, that is India-Japan Education Connect. India-Japan, another initiative supporting it, Youth Connect. India-Japan Youth Connect and India-Japan Education Connect. We have been trying to bring momentum to this area, and our target is to add couple of zeros, 1 zero if at least in short term and couple of zeros in long term, to this number of having nearly 20,000 to 200,000 Indian students coming to Japan to study in the universities, and similar number of research scholars visiting Japan for higher research exchange programs. How do we implement it? We need to become more active, and our outreach to each and every of the Japanese universities needs to reach that scale where we are able to touch each one of them. So what we are doing? So our ambassador takes a team of embassy. He goes to each prefecture. There are 47 prefectures in Japan. Each prefecture has got several universities. So every month or so, we are visiting each and every prefecture and meeting the universities. And we are trying to find how we can improve this exchange. Because if our Indian students come here and Japanese students go to India, and research scholars come here, research scholars go to India, the foundations of relationship becomes very strong. The foundations of benefiting both countries become stronger, because that is the basic level, foundational level education. It also, as you all educators will know, that education is one of the foundation, one of the 5 principles of any country, education, infrastructure, quality of government funding, finance, etc. So education plays a major role, health services. So education is one of these pillars. So this is the brief roundup, what we are doing in the embassy, what we think about education, and where we are with Japan at a very spatial, strategic and global partnership. And this, I assure you, with your support, with the support of educators, and with your visits like this to Japan, to understand this country better, to establish linkages with this country better, not only in Tokyo, Osaka, but to every prefecture, is going to be very, very instrumental in benefiting not only our 2 countries, but also, as we say for India, bring peace, stability and security to the world. So thank you very much, and I welcome you to the embassy.
Curious to know from all of you, what do you understand about India-Japan relations? But after this very comprehensive speech by Honorable CDA, Mayank Joshi sir, what I will do perhaps is very briefly touch upon what I believe are critical pillars of the India-Japan Special Strategic and Global Partnership, and of course thereafter we will welcome your remarks and questions. So as you all are aware, the India-Japan relationship isn't a very new relationship. It has a very strong civilizational, historical connect. These are some of the examples of our civilizational connect. As you undertake your tour to the 4 prefectures of Japan, you may come across some of the gods and goddesses. Now, these gods and goddesses, actually you will find, bear a lot of similarity to our gods and goddesses. For example, there is Benzaiten within the Japanese society and culture. She is the goddess of arts, knowledge, just like goddess Saraswati. Similarly, we have Kangiten here, who is a similar representation as Lord Ganesh. Then we have Daikokuten here, who is also believed to be Lord of a lot of these destructive and many other energies, just like Lord Mahakal. Historical figures, of course, connect first began, the first documented connect began from the visit of Bodhisena, a monk who had travelled far from India to Japan for the consecration of a Buddhist statue in the Todaiji temple in Nara, very close to Kyoto actually, where you will be visiting. Then of course, I do not need to speak much about the important connect between India and Japan during the freedom struggle, of which Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose was an important pillar. And thereafter, when the Tokyo war crime trials took place, one of the judges on the bench was Justice Radha Vinod Pal. And his dissenting judgment is something which is actually quite eye-opening. But instead of talking about it, I'll leave you to actually read up on it and understand how did he bring our two nations closer together. Next slide, please. This is this journey of our diplomatic relations. In 1952, the relations were established gradually over a period of time. They got strengthened to a global partnership, then a strategic and global partnership, and in 2014, under the leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi and then Honorable Prime Minister Shri Shinzo Abe, it was elevated to a special strategic and global partnership. Next slide, please. We have over 70 bilateral exchanges which exist across all, perhaps all possible verticals. Let me begin first with the political vertical. Now, we have an annual summit between our prime ministers, which of course means that there is the most highest level of interaction every year. This is also then bolstered by our foreign ministers' interaction. Thereafter, we have a 2+2 dialogue between our foreign and defense ministers. And then you name a sector and we'll have a dialogue mechanism within it, ranging from skilled workers and human resources exchanges to information and communication technology to defense and many others. We're of course partners within the Quad relationship as well. And within that, what we've basically done is we've taken forward our excellent bilateral relationship with the 3 Quad partner countries into this plurilateral, multilateral mechanism to further take forward our common objectives within the Indo-Pacific. Next slide, please. Very recently, in March of 2024, Honorable External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar had visited for the strategic dialogue with the Foreign Minister Kamikawa. Next slide, please. This is a glimpse of all the high-level interactions. As you can see, it's with the leadership across the country. Next slide, please. Honorable External Affairs Minister had also spoken at the Nikkei roundtable as well as the Raisena roundtable, which was organized here in Tokyo. Next slide, please. We also had the Honorable Minister of State visiting us just last year. Under the pillars of G20 and G7, of which India was the chair of G20 and Japan was the chair of G7 last year, we had many ministerial exchanges between the two countries. Commerce Minister Honorable Shri Piyush Goyal had just visited last year. We've also had exchanges within foreign ministers, agriculture, environment, IT, finance, and as I said, commerce. Next slide, please. We've had many state delegations coming in as well, because we do understand, as do both the countries, that it's not simply about the Tokyo to Delhi Connect, that many of the important partnerships, whether it is between companies, whether it is between schools, students, universities, human resources, the scientific institutes, exist within the various local areas and within the other prefectures. So among the state delegations, we've had Gujarat, Maharashtra, Odisha, Tamil Nadu, etc. coming in. There have been exchanges between the honorable members of parliament of both countries. We also saw for the first time Honorable Chief of Defence Staff coming in to visit Japan to take forward our defence exchanges. Next slide, please. This is a foreign secretary who had again come for high-level exchanges. Next slide, please. Our Honorable Ambassador has been meeting with the various cabinet ministers of Japan, again to pilot our cooperation going forward. Next slide, please. Touching upon economic cooperation very briefly, these are some of the numbers as regards our trade investment portfolio. As you all are aware, Japan is a key bilateral infrastructure partner, and whether it is the transformation of our automobile sector, whether it's the transformation of our metro culture, and now going forward, the Shinkansen project that both countries are doing together, Japan has been critical to India's growth and development story. Some of the important dialogue mechanisms which are taking this cooperation under economic pillar together are Comprehensive Economic Partnership, India-Japan Industrial Competitiveness Partnership. We've recently understanding that how supply chains are extremely critical, especially after COVID, when most of our supply chains completely got thrown up for a toss, and we realized that how to plug these pillars, we must amplify our cooperation among like-minded partner countries, and supply chain resilience initiative, as well as others, digital clean energy, are all aspects of taking this forward. Within the embassy, we've also set up the small and medium enterprises facilitation cell, because we understand that to make our B2B Connect stronger, we now need to reach out to more than the large Japanese companies within Japan. Next slide, please. Within defense and security cooperation, these are listing the important exchanges, but I just would like to draw your attention how last year we had, defense exchanges and exercises taking place across all our services. So we had the Dharma Guardian exchange for our armies of the two nations. We had Malabar and Jimex with respect to our naval exercises, joint naval exercises, and for the first time we had Veer Guardian for our air exercises. Next slide, please. Touching upon human resources, one of the key pillars of our relationship, and perhaps one of the most important aspects going forward, will be how India and Japan collaborate to take forward the Indian demographic surplus and Japan's issue of vibrant economic structure and industry, but which is grappling with a demographic crisis, so to speak. So these are the pillars: the specified skilled workers, the technical intern training program, which has now recently been reworked, the Japan endowed courses, and our Skill Connect are the various pillars which we are kind of collaborating on to make sure that this complementarity can be taken forward and amplified substantially. Next slide, please. Perhaps the most important of our pillars is the people-to-people exchanges, and your presence here speaks plenty about it. We are looking to celebrate this year as India-Japan Year of Tourism 2.0. Last year was India-Japan Year of Tourism. The idea, of course, is to make sure that our people visit each other quite a bit so that there is greater mutual understanding and respect between two countries. The theme is connecting Himalayas with Mount Fuji, which needs no further explanation. We do International Day of Yoga here with a lot of enthusiasm, because there are many Japanese people who are very fond and lifelong disciples of yoga. So with them we take forward the yoga partnership. We have a 40,000 strong Indian diaspora presence here, and going forward the idea is that with the stronger people-to-people connect, how can we increase that? Next slide, please. Honorable said how we are visiting 40 plus, close to all the 47 prefectures now, with the idea that we must look to engage the businesses, the students, the universities, the media outside Tokyo. And with that idea, we are celebrating India Day, Prefecture Day across all parts of Japan. Next slide, please. These are the new initiatives within the embassy: EduConnect, Youth Connect, SME Connect, Ayush Connect, Skill Connect, as well as celebration of the India-Japan Year of Science and Innovation that we have piloted to make sure that we can take forward a very strong India-Japan special strategic and global partnership that cuts across all areas of possible cooperation. Thank you very much. With this, I will welcome Mr. Murthy to please say a few comments. Yes, please.
Namaste and Ohayo gozaimasu. On behalf of Brainfeed magazine, which is a magazine from South India, and also the entire fraternity of educationists from all over the country, I thank Mr. Mayank Joshi, Honorable CDA, Indian Embassy in Japan, for this opportunity. It's a great opportunity for all of us to interact and then know a lot of things that are happening between India and Japan. Right, we as school educators, right, we are definitely, whatever you have mentioned here, ma'am has mentioned, we actually want that connect, right? Hopefully Brainfeed will plan a lot of programs between India and Japan at the school level, because that school level connect is important. And under the able leadership of Narendra Modi ji, Honorable Prime Minister of India, a lot of things are happening in India too. And if we take the National Education Policy 2020, which of course after 70 years or 70 plus years of independence, we have something that is a real challenge to all of us, but for good. We are planning to go towards good as far as the education is concerned at the school level. That is the most important aspect, because by the time the student reaches the university level, it's gone. We cannot mend the students there. But at the early childhood level, a lot of innovative things have been planned, which we all are working on. A lot of seminars, a lot of webinars are happening in India across. Our teachers are being trained there. That is the most important aspect here. And we, a team of educators, are from actually Brainfeed plans this every year for the last almost 8 or 9 years. We've been visiting countries because May is a vacation for us. So every May we visit different countries, and then we take the good practices as far as those schools are concerned. Luckily in May we have vacation, but elsewhere in other countries they're working days. So visit live schools, we sit in the classrooms, try to understand what exactly is good for us, and then we carry the good practices and then we try and implement them in India. So I again thank the staff of Indian Embassy for this great opportunity to visit this and then know from Mr. Mayank Joshi, Honorable CDA, about a lot of plans that India and Japan Connect has. So we will take it forward, and we will definitely contribute our bit in taking forward this India-Japan relationship further. Thank you very much.
Number one is when you are talking about university admissions and students, how can I change from India to Japan and Japan to India. Generally, the understanding and perception in Indian student community is Japan means expensive. That is one thing. And second one is generally after going to US kind of countries, there they are going to get some working visa permit for quite some time. Is that kind of facility available in Japan, so that after 12 we can promote our students to undergrad programs? That is number one. And number two is India as a country right now, we are in demographic dividend stage. Definitely lot of youth is there and lot of skill requirement for Indian students. In skill enhancement, particularly the strategic relationship between India and Japan, any skill development programs are initiating and how it is going to benefit Indian students at this moment. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Prasanna. I think you have raised a very valid, the questions are very valid, and this is exactly what we are working on. So, to understand the challenges which currently we face between India and Japan students, or the preference for the Indian students to come to Japan to study, there are a large number of challenges. You have mentioned only two, but there are several others which we are aware of, and we have been working with the universities of Japan very closely, and the government of Japan, the embassy of Japan in New Delhi, on how to overcome these challenges. There is no set answer to this. It's a long-term strategy, and a lot depends on how, as our officer had mentioned, promote more visits between the two countries, interaction between the two countries. If you don't come to Japan and see for yourself, if you don't visit to India and see for yourself, it's very difficult to understand, because you are competing with a large international education market, and other players in this market have been there for decades. But to pointedly answer your question about the costs, Japan offers extremely very affordable education. They have a large number of scholarships for eligible students. So I don't see any problem there. More so from the aspect of living in Japan, there are other issues where definitely there is a lot to be done in India. That is, to each and every university, you have to approach the Indian universities where there are these prospective students, and to let them know about Japan, the Japan fair, education fair. Also, a kind of momentum has to be built up that how Japan is attractive. There is a lot of work to be done on the Japan side also. especially from the, I would mention that we have a Tokyo Education Center in Delhi, which is working on this already. From the embassy's perspective, we are engaging with various universities, like you are coming here from the educators. We get a lot of queries from many universities, and we tell them that please work on this aspect and see if you can have more and more students coming to Japan. There are several issues regarding prospective employment, migration issues. There are work employment related issues. How do you see the salary structure in Japan after you finish your education? So these all have to be like a package. So this is already taken cognizant of, and we are working on it. With regard to skill development, you will be very happy to know that Japan and India have a very strong skill development framework in place. There are 3 or 4 parallel things which are going on in this area. As I mentioned to you, you may have seen there was a slide on human resource development, a spatial slide. Japan itself is looking at the demographic skilled and semi-skilled dividend of India. They are very, very eager to tap into this potential. There are, I think, 39 Japan Institute of Manufacturing and around 11 to 15, I think, Japan endowment courses. I don't know the number exactly, I can't recall it right now. So there are Japanese companies, 1400 Japanese companies in India right now. We have established bases and working there. The leading companies from there have tied up with more than 60 institutes, engineering institutes in India, where they are running these courses. Japan Institute of Manufacturing, that is, they have set specialized courses on how Japan manufactures, the Kaizen technique, the Sigma 6 approach. So they are training, shop floor work training, how to use machines, how to use Japanese technology, how to use Japanese machines, robotic machines. These all training are being given there in India in engineering college right now. Japan endowment courses also are geared to create those special engineers who can work in Japanese companies according to their techniques. So you can see the high level of skill talent being imparted by Japanese companies to Indians. This is one aspect. Second aspect, the second stream which is important is, and you should know, are the semi-skilled streams. So Japan has opened its market for semi-skilled workers from several countries. They have tied up this arrangement with several countries, around 20 countries. And India is one of them. There are 14 sectors which Japan has opened up for semi-skilled workers. And India started this program with Japan in 2017. We were very recent, the most recent, we have joined this program with Japan. Other countries like from the ASEAN, they have been working on this since 2011, 2010. They are far ahead of us. But we have started and we are catching up fast. On this, there are certain tests to be done in India. So Japanese language is a requirement at certain level. And there are more than, I think, 300 Japanese language training institutes in India in different areas. So they teach Japanese language to these semi-skilled workers, IT workers, and then they take a test, which is done by Japan every moment or so, depending on their demand. And if you qualify that aptitude test and Japanese language test, you come to India. I think we are now reaching 500 such skilled workers coming to Japan under this program. So there is a lot of potential, and we are looking at more and more Indians coming to Japan for work. But this is one area. You will be very happy to again know, and there is a lot of happiness with Japan and India. Out of 40,000 Indians in Japan, nearly 13,000 are high-tech engineers. Look at the percentage. So Japan is an advanced technology and they need Indian engineers, and that's why they have tied up very high-level tie-ups with our IITs, and the companies are tapping our engineers, not only at IIT level, now they are going to tier 2 level also. So you will see more and more high-level engineers coming to Japan from India. And I assure you that we have a little India here also. And if you will talk to these young engineers who come with their families, And they are special visas, highly specialized visas, even their family members can work. So this is a very, very good package. They are so happy to be here in Japan. And now a word of mouth is catching up slowly. We are looking at reaching that threshold where you will suddenly have a breakthrough. So, but we are very hopeful for that. I would be happy to hear from you when you finish your visit. Please write to us about your experience and what you feel about all this which you have learned in the embassy and what you have had perception when you were coming from India, and what do you feel can more be done. Any suggestions, any proposals, they are most welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, we'll take one more question because you see we have to leave.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
So we have a CPT and OPT kind of programs in US. While student is studying, he will have an opportunity to work for 20 hours a week, and post completing the course, they can have 40 hours work permit. So is that kind of facilities available here? And one more question is that, do we have any affiliation tie-up with our Indian universities so that students can complete a couple of semesters in India and then they can continue the rest of the semesters here in Japan, so that will attract more students to complete here the higher education?
Thank you. Your name, please?
I am Madhusudan.
Madhusudan.
Yeah.
Okay. So Madhusudan ji, again, these are the issues which we already are cognizant of as a challenge or as a factor in deciding how many students visit to Japan. So one thing is there that Japan is very different from USA in education as well as in their environment, their work. But I am not very aware of any restrictions. There are options of internships and work which university students do go through, and they have been working very much within the university level with their assistants. I don't know how much are the hours, but we can definitely check it for you. So I think that shouldn't be a problem. And the second question was, I'm sorry.
Yeah, tie-up with
Tie-up.
Indian
So
universities.
that is, when I talked about 600 linkages between Indian and Japanese universities, more than 100 Indian universities, no, 50 Indian universities, more than 100 universities in Japan. So these linkages are built over the years, and most of these linkages involve exchange student programs. These linkages are exchange student linkages. There are 6 months exchange programs where students come here for 6 months and stay, and Japanese students also go to Indian universities and work. It's more about incoming. More Indian students come here and stay for 6 months or more, but they are mostly in the field of STEM as of now. So we still have to explore more of the humanities area, but then language is the issue. So